Just goes to show that if you complain enough every now and again, fate smiles on you just a little bit. Well, maybe it was the complaining. Maybe it was just dumb luck. Either way, I am pretty excited to finally take a look at the Transformers Titans Return Legends Class Gnaw. That being said, I'm also a little bit weary, maybe even a touch nervous about discussing this guy, but we're going to talk about everything to do with him in the latest GotBot True Review. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I am your host, Dennis Moulton, aka GotBot. As always, please like, comment, subscribe, share, check out Machinery of Man, the Everything Factor. Look for me everywhere, and why not watch Season 1 of my stop motion series, Universal Collision. I'm excited to have this guy. I have been looking for him for months and months and months and months. And finally, I managed to score one. I would like to have a small squad of these guys. Small squad. And I'm going to get my rant out of the way right away. I have seen people talk about, how he's an army builder. And he is. And he's a great size class for that. Great price point, I guess, for that. And I get it. Having 3, 4, 5, maybe even 6. Okay, I guess I can see it. But I have heard tell of people having 10, 12, 13. The highest number that I have heard is 15. Do you really need 15 of this exact same mold? I get that he's an army builder, but I think it reaches a point where you're just a glutton. And there are so many people out there that just want one. That are just trying to get one. And stores that tend to have overstock eventually siphon that overstock off to smaller stores. And in some cases, some fans may only be able to obtain this guy because of those type of overstocks. And with people buying up really a lot more than what they need for this guy, those other fans are really going to struggle to get their hands on even one of this version of this mold. And I think that's a shame, because everybody should really have a chance to have him added to their collection in some shape or form. I'm not saying don't army build. Like I said, I'd like to have a squad of 3. But kind of think about your fellow fans a bit. We're all just trying to have some fun and be happy, and maybe just something to bear in mind. Plus, if you have 15, let's say they're $10 a pop, just for argument's sake. That's $150 spent on a bunch of the exact same legend? I don't know. I don't see the logic of it. I mean, to each their own. Your collecting habits and your want and your desire is, hey, that's all for you. And I'm not saying that you're wrong for it. I'm just saying kind of maybe at least think about when to say when, because there are so many wanting this guy. And is he worth it? Well, that's a good question. Paint apps. They're certainly more based on the G1 toy, but in all honesty, if you compare it to the animation and even the stickers on that toy, I would say that his paint apps are about a 6. They're about a 6 because his lower jaw that's pink here should really be purple. His thighs at the very least should be pink or purple, depending on your sensibilities. His arms should be completely gray. His fists should be purple. His little claw sections for his shark legs, they should be blue. So there are imperfections. His tail fin, I think, should be probably a gray or a silver. There are imperfections. It's no mistaking that it's Gnaw. I also kind of wish that they didn't have the Decepticon symbol down and under here, because he's not really a Decepticon. I think that the Transformers Legends version of this guy is not, and that's the line, not to be confused with this size class, but I think that that version doesn't have the Decepticon symbol, so it's probably a little more accurate. It's also a little bit more expensive, but hey, it's up to you what aesthetic you like. That being said, while I can only give his paint apps, because of that, about a 6.5, honestly, I think that this works really well. I like the look of it. It so much puts me in the mind of Gnaw. I like the interplay of the colors. I am going to add a couple of custom apps. I might even do that and show that at the end of this review. Usually I do that first, but I was really excited to get this guy out and, you know, record it here. I do think that this works. I kind of like just having the pink stripe on the leg, and I like having the rest of the leg gray. I think it's more uniform. I kind of like that the hands and the, I guess, claws are also gray, because when he's in his shark mode, I think that looks more uniform. So I sort of dig it. I even like the fin on the back here being blue, because I think it matches nicely. Now, he does have big head chunks and arms hanging off of his leg. I don't like that. I think it's sloppy. Does it affect anything? Well, we're going to find out shortly. So, and some people might complain and say, hey, he's really hollow back here. But his head goes in here during transformation, so I think it's acceptable, especially when you have the tail fin come up over the back and kind of sort of fill it in loosely, kind of. Otherwise, he's pretty great. The weird positioning of the fists on the forearms might really get some people, and I understand that. In all honesty, it's not nearly as egregious, I find, in hand, in person, as it appears on camera. It sort of just adds to his hench look, to be honest with you. He comes with a melee weapon, of course, his mace, which is his tail in shark mode. So I'm going to take him out of it for a second, and we'll focus on this for just a moment. I mean, it's a spiky blue ball. You know, I dig it. Now, you'll notice that there's a peg down here. That's what goes in his hand. And there's another oddly shaped peg up here. That will actually be what slots in for his tail. Taking that out of it, we have, I guess I'll show this, we have his box art. Can I show this? Yeah, sure I can. There's the box, you know, on the back. It is what it is, the product shots, and it says that his favorite food is Autobots. Not my favorite food. I kind of like tacos, but that's just me. Bringing this back in, now comes the highlight of any review, the ever popular collector card. And you can see it there. It's actually a really nice image, to be honest with you. I think it's kind of cool. The paint apps are pretty much like they are in the toy. Maybe that bottom lip section is purple. On the back, this is what we have for tech specs. Strength, yeah, that makes sense. Speed, probably even a little quicker than I would have thought. Fire blast makes sense. Intelligence might even be slightly higher than I thought, but it's probably accurate. I think that's a pretty good set of tech specs for this guy. So, that said, bring him back in. Paint apps, we started with a 6.5. Let's look at his articulation. Well, the head can go left and right. Because of transformation, I guess it ever so slightly looks up and not really anything down. The arms can go all the way around 360 on a ball joint in the shoulder. The elbow, though oddly shaped, bends all the way up. I think that's a fantastic elbow. Because it's on a ball joint, that's where you get your swivel. Nothing at the wrist, of course. Nothing at the waist. Again, no huge shock. But the legs, surprisingly, can go way out to the side. All the way out. And back and forward. That much, and I think that's certainly acceptable. There's no thigh swivel, but we do have ever so slight of a twist on the ball hinge at the thigh, at the hip, I guess, but no dedicated thigh swivel. The legs never go completely out straight, at least I can't get them to go completely out straight, and again, that doesn't really bother me because the feet are so huge that we kind of don't need to worry about him standing up. He's going to stand like an absolute champion. And again, the legs being like that, sort of the lumbering Hulk sort of size and girth that these guys were, I think that that's fine. Knee bend, surprisingly deep, not quite 90 degrees, surprisingly deep with a big head on the back. If you move the head a little bit, you know, you move it back like that, you can get a deeper knee bend. So, you know, if you wanted them to, can I get them to stand like that? I mean, there you go. I mean, you know, he's running or something. I don't know. But it's certainly effective, to say the least. Now, that being said, because of the size class, I'm going to give his articulation, and also, I should say this, in shark mode, you know, these little arms can move forward and back. They don't move out, but I don't really think you need them to. And because his robot arms become his legs, you have all the same articulation in shark mode for that. Honestly, I'm going to give that a solid 8. A solid 8. We have a 6.5 for paint apps. We have an 8. You know, the guy is right now about a 7.35, 7.4, something like that. Let's get into the transformation, which again, I think for the size is pretty interesting. Pull this whole fin section back and bring up his bottom lip, I guess, and you can even push the head back into that cavity in the body. Next, by the way, at a package, I should note that at a package when you get them, these head pieces are down straight and this fin piece is back, just so you know, that's the way he's packed. You automatically got to put this up for robot, and you automatically got to put these on the back of the legs. Anyway, having it like this, you take those pieces out and you will see that we have, let's see if I can show this now. Actually, maybe put that just up there for a second. You can see that we have a little hole up here and a little hole up here and a little tab where little tab right here and a little tab right here. These little tabs on the heels, are basically going to go up into these holes. So you bring this back out, you take them at the thigh and bring the thigh all the way up, and then you bend them at the knee. Bring the thigh all the way up. You're really kind of collapsing the body here. Bring the thigh all the way up, and you bend them at the knee. Ooh. Like that. And you can kind of see how this guy's going to sort of come together now. You can angle these down for now. We'll deal with those in just a few seconds. And kind of bring up the head here. I find that it's usually best to put the two head pieces together now. Like you have a couple of teeth here and a tooth here, and they lock into each other. I find before you try and lock the legs into position, it's good to get the head together. And now those two little tabs should go down into the little slots. So putting his head back, taking that back, tab these down to the little slots if I can. And tabbing them down to those little slots, it's not hard, it's just, again, I'm trying to do it here on camera. There, I got one side in, and can I get the other side in? The other side does not want to work with me. Okay, and I finally got the other side in. Sorry about the little cut there. This piece I pulled all the way back out. You just bring that back up there, no problem. You take the arms, you turn them around, you take them and turn them around so that the fish feet are out. Now some people find that if you leave the shoulders up in place that he stands better. By rights, they're supposed to go all the way back and all the way back. If you do that, he tends to fall forward. Now you might say, hey, could you use that mace to counterbalance it? Well, in right here between the two legs, you basically peg the mace in there. Does that help stabilize them? Not really. So what I do is, instead of leaving the shoulders all the way up, I tend to, let's see if I can get this now. I tend to leave the shoulders about halfway, roughly, and I find that he stands okay. If you really don't want to move the shoulders at all, you can certainly leave them all the way up, and guess what? When you do, he's going to stand like an absolute champion. He's pretty great, and this is a fun little mode. You have all the movement here in the shoulders and the legs. You have this that can move, the arms, his jaw can open and close. Granted, you see his head way in here. Down on the lower lip, there are two pegs. You can put a Titan Master in there, and if you bring up the top of the head, basically would stand in there, and the Titan Master would basically stand in the mouth of Gnaw. I'm not worried about doing that because I'm never ever going to use that feature ever in a billion years, unless I guess I want a Titan Master being chomped on, I suppose. So overall, I think it's a decent transformation. It's certainly involved and interesting enough. I wish that they had handled the head differently, but it's not a hard transformation. Kids can do it. They're going to have fun fiddling with this guy back and forth. I'm going to give his transformation a 10. He was getting like a 7.4. He just got a 10 for transformation. Honestly, Gnaw is easily a 9.25. Easily a 9.25. Not perfect, but pretty great. And I'm going to do the transformation just back here for a second so you can get one final look at his robot mode. Then I'm going to take a cut, and when we come back I'm going to have a couple of paint apps done. Like I said, I'm not doing much, but I'm just curious if it's enough to make him, I don't know, just pop a little bit more. We will see. But you see, I just unfurled him and his arms and his head. As quick as that, he is done. So this is the one final look at him in this mode. And now here he is with a couple of custom paint apps. Now I thought about painting the lower lip purple. I might at some point. I thought about painting the upper arms gray or silver. I might at some point, but I really do kind of dig the look of the arms. So what did I do? All that I've really done at this point is try and remove the Decepticon symbol, which honestly really did not want to come off. I used some rubbing alcohol and that didn't want to kind of bring it off. I'm sure if I put enough work into it, it would have worked, but it don't mean that much to me. What I did do is I added a little bit of green down below the purple, even though that purple on his abdomen shouldn't be there. I did a touch of green below there because the green should be there. And on his lip, I done the 3 red squares and the green up there. I kind of like what I did. If I get other ones, I don't know if I'm going to bother to do this custom on it. But I like the way that it turned out, and it sort of makes him a, I don't know, leader of a squad, I guess. It's a pretty great figure. He deserves to be in your collection. He deserves to be in every fan's collection. And like I said, while I would like to have a couple of them in my own little squadron, I don't have it in me personally to go out and buy up everyone I see, knowing how much people want this guy and how much he deserves to be someone on your shelf as well. Anyway, folks, that's it. He's great. I thank you very kindly for dropping by. I really appreciate you giving me some of your time. Let me know what you think of the little bit of custom. It's only a slight touch-up here. And I really look forward to the next time that you and I get together for another visit right here inside the videos.